Now let's create our telescope model object. So final telescope, that will be telescope, that will be telescope. First of all, we need to provide the model, and we get the model from the model controller. We get the brand from the brand reference that we declared at the top of this state object. We get the type, that means the telescope type. We get the telescope type from this one, and the dimension we get from the dimension controller, and also the weight, and that will be a number. Actually, weight in pound is actually a number type, and we get the weight from this text from field as a string, and we need to convert that string into a number. So just type num.parse and then weight controller.text, and the focus type will be the focus type. The lens diameter, also this will be a number.parse, and the controller over here, and then the mount description, that will be mount description. The price will be coming from number.parse, the price controller.text, and the stock, let me just copy this, and that will be the stock controller, I guess. And for the thumbnail, I need to provide the image model that we got from this method. So that will be image model. And for the additional images, that is actually a list of image model, and I'm simply providing an empty list over here. And for average rating and discount, I just want to provide some default value over here. Maybe we could set the average rating 0 and the discount maybe 0. So whenever we add a telescope, the default average rating will be 0 or discount will be 0. Or even we can actually provide the default value over here, that the class we created using Phrased, and inside this telescope constructor over here, we can actually provide default values. Just like we provide default value for any class constructor argument, we can also provide default values for any of the field over here. And to provide the default values, all we need to do is to use another annotation. And like I said before, we can provide the default value from here, and also we can provide the default value from here. But I think providing from here would be more appropriate. So how we do actually provide the default values for this constructor over here? And that's very easy. So if you go to the Phrased official documentation, the README section over here, there is a section at the middle of the page called default values. So we can pass default values to constructor just like this. So we should use this annotation default, and then at the bracket we should provide the default value, and the rest is similar to the normal one, like the property, the data type, and the variable. So let's go to our code, and we want to provide a default average rating and discount. So since it will be default, let's remove the required keyword, but instead just say @default and provide the default value for number average rating, for example 0.0. So this will be the default value for average rating, and also the default value for our discount will be 0. So this actually is a percentage value, that means 0%, or if I provide 10, that means the 10%. So I'm providing or giving 0 here. So now that we have made some changes in our telescope.dart class, now these two files should be generated once again. And to do that, let's go to the terminal and let's just run this flutter pub run build runner build method once again. So you see it is done and errors are gone. So now that these two fields are have default values, so we don't need to pass these two arguments when we create the telescope object. So let's remove these two arguments from here, and now we have our telescope object in our add telescope page. Now it's time to take this telescope object to the provider first and then go to the DB helper, and we should create a method that will eventually save a telescope to a particular collection like telescope collection, and that will by adding a telescope means we will create a new document and the telescope data will be set to that document, and we'll do that in the next lecture.